It's not what you think. Neo aok você pensa. XXXX. You are free. Breathe that in for a moment. Feel the weight of it. Or perhaps, feel the lightness of it. Free to choose. Which path to walk. Which career to pursue. Which beliefs to hold. Which identity to claim. Free to speak. To voice your thoughts. To share your dissent. To praise or criticize. To write, to broadcast, to post. Free to move. Across borders. Across cities. Across ideologies. Across social circles. Free to consume. 1,000 products. 1,000,000 opinions. An endless stream of content. Curated. Personalized. Algorithmically optimized. Free to build. A business. A platform. A reputation. A life of your own design. Free to leave. Relationships. Communities. Systems that no longer serve you. No chains. Nothing binds your wrists. Nothing locks your door from the outside. No guards. No one watches your every move. No one dictates your daily schedule with violence. No visible cage. If you look around and you see open sky, you see options. You see pathways. You see choice. And yet, pause here. Take an honest inventory. Most trajectories look strangely similar. Walk through any major city. Different faces. Different stories. Different names stitched onto lives. Different names. What? Sarah. Mark. Each convinced their journey is unique. Different cities. Tokyo. New York. Sao Paulo. Berlin. Each proud of its distinct culture. Different languages. Spanish. Mandarin. Portuguese. German. Each carrying centuries of heritage. And yet, same ceilings. The same invisible altitude. Where ambition meets systemic resistance. Where merit starts requiring permission. Where effort stops translating cleanly into outcome. Same negotiations with invisible limits. How much can I ask for? Without seeming unreasonable? How far can I push? Without being replaced? How different can I be? Without being excluded? Same quiet compromises with reality. I'll do this for now. Maybe later I'll have more options. This isn't perfect, but it's stable. I can't afford to risk it. Freedom was granted. You were given the right to move within the system, to participate, to contribute, to optimize your position. But leverage was not. The ability to change the system, to negotiate its terms, to operate outside its gravitational pull. And there is a difference, a profound one that most never see clearly, because from inside the cage, the bars look like horizons. Freedom allows action. It says, you may move. You may choose from the menu provided. You may raise your hand and speak. When called upon, leverage alters outcomes. It says, I can change the menu. I can rewrite the terms of engagement. I can make the system adjust to me, rather than adjusting myself to it. Let's test this. You can speak, post on social media, write an essay, protest in the street. But can you shift direction? Can your speech change policy? Can your words redirect capital? Can your voice alter the trajectory of institutions? Or does it echo in chambers designed to contain it? You can quit, walk away from your job, leave your company, refuse the offer. But can you negotiate terms? Can you dictate conditions? Can you make them need you more than you need them? Or is your exit simply an inconvenience, quickly replaced by the next applicant? You can disagree, challenge the narrative, question authority, reject the consensus. But can you redirect structure? Can your disagreement change budgets? Can it reshape incentives? Can it alter what gets built, funded, rewarded? Or does it simply mark you as non-compliant? Most people confuse options with power. They see a menu of 10 choices and feel free. They do not ask, who designed the menu? They do not ask, why are these 10 options available and not others? They do not ask, what happens if I want something not listed? Options are choices within a framework you did not design, a framework optimized for outcomes that may not align with yours. Leverage is the ability to bend the framework, to introduce options that were not there, to negotiate exceptions, to operate by different rules, or to create new rules entirely. Frameworks are rarely built to bend. They are built to endure. Think about it. Institutions endure. Bureaucracies endure. Traditions endure. Not because they are perfect, but because they are stable. Continuity creates stability. The same processes repeated. The same hierarchies maintained. The same assumptions reinforced. Stability creates predictability. You know what to expect. Others know what to expect. Resources flow smoothly along established channels. Predictability protects structure. When outcomes are predictable, the system can optimize. It can plan. It can scale. It can perpetuate itself. And structure protects itself. Not maliciously, not consciously, but inevitably. Not through oppression. Modern systems rarely need overt force. They do not need violence. They do not need tyranny. Through inertia, the weight of established patterns, the cost of deviation, the friction of doing something no one has done before. Inertia does not feel like control. It feels like reality, and that is why it works. Modern systems rarely restrict you directly. There are no literal chains, no forced labor, no prohibition on movement. They do something more refined, more elegant, more effective. They define the range of acceptable motion. Imagine a corridor, wide enough to feel spacious, long enough to feel like progress, but ultimately still a corridor. You may move forward, faster, with enthusiasm, but within lanes, career lanes, educational lanes, ideological lanes. Step outside and you face friction, not prohibition. Friction. You may innovate, disrupt, experiment, but within incentives. Incentives that reward scale. Incentives that reward speed. Incentives that reward alignment with capital. Innovate against those incentives, and you starve. You may rise, climb, achieve, excel, but along pre-approved pathways. Credentials that signal value. Institutions that confer legitimacy. Networks that grant access. Rise outside those pathways, and you are invisible. Containment no longer looks like walls. It looks like opportunity. That is the brilliance. The system does not say no. It says yes, but only this way. Carefully engineered opportunity. Let's trace the architecture. Education promises mobility, study hard, get good grades, earn the degree, measured by standardized metrics. SAT scores, university rankings, metrics designed decades ago, optimized for throughput, optimized for sorting, not for awakening, not for transformation, not for genuine intellectual freedom. Careers promise advancement, work hard, prove your value, climb the ladder, within hierarchies already drawn, corporate structures, salary bands, promotion timelines. You can climb, but you cannot redraw the ladder. You cannot question why the ladder exists in the first place. Markets promise participation, invest, compete, succeed, rewarding alignment with existing flows. Capital flows to what is already legible, to what is already proven, to what fits existing models of value extraction. Participate outside those flows, and you are called impractical, naive, idealistic. Nothing stops you. You are technically free, but everything channels you through invisible architecture, through incentive gradients, through social proof and validation loops. Like water guided by stone, water is free to flow, but the riverbed determines where it goes. The river feels natural. It feels inevitable. It feels like the only path, until you notice the banks were carved long before you arrived, by forces you did not choose, for purposes you may not share. Agency feels personal. I chose this career. I decided to move here. I made this sacrifice. The pronoun is singular. The credit is yours. Structural influence feels impersonal. Market forces, economic trends, cultural norms, invisible, distributed, non-localized. And so you rarely notice the latter. You feel the weight of your choice. You do not feel the architecture. That made certain choices visible, and others invisible. You believe you chose the path. And in a narrow sense, you did. You weighed options. You deliberated. You committed. But the path was already visible. It had been walked before. It had been validated. It had a name, a trajectory, a precedent, already rewarded. Societally, financially, socially, others had gone this way and been praised, already reinforced, through media, through education, through family expectations. The path had momentum before you ever stepped onto it. Deviation is possible. You can choose differently. You can walk into the woods where there is no trail. But deviation is expensive, not in money alone, in time, in energy, in social friction. It requires friction, explaining yourself to people who do not understand, justifying decisions that have no precedent. It requires discomfort, living without a map, operating without a model, building something no one has validated yet. It requires operating without immediate validation. No applause, no promotions, no visible milestones. Just the silent, grinding work of forging a new path. Most people do not lack intelligence. They are not incapable. They are not lazy. They lack tolerance for structural resistance. The psychological cost of sustained deviation. The loneliness of being unrecognized. The fear of wasting time on something that may not work. And so they optimize within the visible system. They accept the menu. They play the game well. They master the rules. Read them carefully. Learn the nuances. Exploit the loopholes. They climb efficiently, faster than peers, smarter than competitors. They perform exceptionally, producing value, generating results, earning accolades inside the architecture they never designed. And so their mastery serves someone else's blueprint. Their excellence reinforces someone else's structure. Their freedom is permission, not power. Leverage is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not seek attention. It is not motivational. No inspiring speeches. No triumphant music. It is not dramatic. No sudden breakthroughs. No explosive moments. Leverage changes negotiation dynamics. It shifts who needs whom, who can wait longer, who can walk away. It shifts dependency ratios. When you need the system more than it needs you, you have no leverage. When the system needs you more than you need it, you have leverage. It alters who needs whom more. Simple, mechanical, unglamorous, but it changes everything. Most people seek higher income, more salary, bigger bonuses, increased compensation. Few seek lower dependency, lower fixed costs, more liquid savings, portable skills. Income without independence is just a longer leash. Most people seek recognition, awards, titles, visibility. Few seek structural positioning, control over resources, influence over decisions, access to allocation mechanisms. Recognition makes you known. Positioning makes you necessary. Most people want access to rooms, to networks, to opportunities. Few want influence over allocation. Who decides what gets funded? Who decides what gets built? Who decides what gets prioritized? Access lets you enter the room. Allocation lets you shape what happens in it. Leverage often looks like restraint, not maximizing. Every short-term opportunity, not broadcasting. Every capability, like optionality you do not advertise. Having alternatives, you never mention. Maintaining flexibility, no one sees. Like independence you do not explain. Operating from a position of strength, quietly. Like the ability to walk away from the deal, from the offer, from the relationship, and mean it, not as bluff, not as posture, but as genuine capacity. Systems respect what they cannot fully control. They adapt. They negotiate. They offer better terms. But they rarely produce it by default, because systems optimize for their own continuity. Because predictability is more efficient than autonomy. Predictable agents are easier to manage, easier to scale, easier to integrate. Autonomy introduces variance, and variance is expensive. Real leverage requires asymmetry. You must have something others do not, something they cannot easily replicate, skills that are scarce, not just competent, exceptional, not just trained, deeply experienced, not just certified, demonstrably rare, resources that are liquid, capital that can move quickly, assets that can be redeployed, not locked into one structure, reputation that is portable, not tied to one institution, not dependent on one role, transferable across contexts, decision-making that is not reactive, not responding to urgency, not operating from desperation, acting from strategy, not survival. It often requires short-term instability, leaving the stable job, to build the uncertain venture, declining the prestigious position, to preserve autonomy, taking the less lucrative path, to maintain optionality, temporary invisibility, working on things no one cares about yet, building in obscurity, periods where growth is not externally validated, no promotions to celebrate, no milestones to announce, just internal progress that no one sees. And this is where most retreat, because humans are social. We seek validation. We need feedback. We crave recognition, because the system offers a comfortable deal, a transaction, an exchange, predictable income, every 2 weeks, reliably, predictable status, a title, a position, a place in the hierarchy, predictable identity. I am a job title. I work at company name. I do a defined role, in exchange for structural obedience, not slavery. No one forces you. Alignment. Do what is expected. Optimize along known dimensions. Operate within established parameters. Alignment feels safe. It has precedent. It has community. It has validation. Leverage feels uncertain. No guarantees. No roadmap. No safety net. And uncertainty activates fear. Primal. Visceral. Overwhelming. So most people choose safety. Rationally. Understandably. And call it freedom. Because it is freedom within limits they did not choose. Leverage does not announce itself. No declarations. No manifestos. It accumulates. Slowly. Silently. Through disciplined positioning. Choosing roles that build transferable skills. Choosing projects that create portable assets. Choosing relationships that do not create dependency. Through reducing unnecessary dependency. Living below your means. Avoiding golden handcuffs. Maintaining financial buffer. Through expanding competence beyond one structure. Learning adjacent skills. Understanding different industries. Becoming multi-contextual. Through learning how incentives shape behavior. Not moralizing. Not judging. Just observing. What gets rewarded? What gets punished? What gets ignored? You do not overthrow systems. Revolutions are expensive. Revolutions attract resistance. You reposition within them, or beyond them, silently, no fanfare, strategically, with clarity, without theatrics, because theatrics attract attention. Attention attracts interference, because theatrics attract resistance. The system responds to threats. It mobilizes. It defends. It neutralizes. Positioning attracts optionality, quiet capability, unannounced readiness. And optionality is leverage disguised as calm. You look patient, but you are positioned. You look compliant, but you are independent. You look stable, but you can move whenever you choose. The enduring structures of history did not survive through force alone. Empires that ruled by sword crumbled. Tyrannies that governed by fear collapsed. They survived through leverage, through mechanisms more subtle than violence, more durable than oppression. Control of resources, land, water, food, energy, capital. Whoever controls what people need controls people, not absolutely, but effectively. Control of narratives. What is true? What is possible? What is moral? Whoever shapes these answers shapes behavior. Control of coordination. Who can organize? Who can communicate? Who can mobilize? Whoever controls coordination mechanisms controls collective action. Control of dependency. Make people need the system more than the system needs them, and you do not need chains. The mighty dead do not restrict your freedom. You can move. You can speak. You can choose. They simply maintain structures where freedom operates within predictable bounds. Bounds that feel natural. Bounds that feel inevitable. Bounds that feel like reality itself. You are free to move, but within lanes. But are you free to negotiate? Can you change the terms? Can you rewrite the rules? You are free to build anything you want, but can you shift terms? Can you access capital without surrendering control? Can you scale without institutional capture? You are free to exit, to quit, to leave, to refuse. But can you exit without collapse? Or does leaving mean losing everything? Does exit mean starting from zero? Freedom is motion. You can act. Leverage is gravity. You can alter the field in which action occurs. One allows you to act. The other determines how much your action changes the world. Think about it. You can write, but can you shift discourse? You can create, but can you define markets? You can protest, but can you redirect power? Most people live moving, busy, active, productive. Few live shifting, altering structures, bending systems, redirecting flows. The difference is not effort. Both groups work hard. It is positioning, where you stand, what you control, what you can walk away from, and positioning, not talent, not effort, not virtue, but positioning is what the structures remember. When you are gone, what remains? Did you move within the system? Or did you shift the system itself? Did you climb the ladder? Or did you build a new ladder? Did you earn freedom? Or did you create leverage? The answer is written, not in what you said, but in what changed. Because you existed.